You're listening to Life, Death, and the Law, presented by Deason, Garner, and Hansen, the law firm that has been voted Yuma's best 6 years in a row.
Where has the American sentiment turned with these wars? Really, it's turned against Israel, right? Initially, I would say 2 years ago, if you said anything anti-Semitic, didn't matter how untouchable you were. Kanye West, right? He was the untouchable.
Mel Gibson, that ruined him.
Well, he wasn't untouchable, though, right? Not as untouchable as Kanye, because Kanye I saw as kind of Trump-esque. He could say, do anything he want. It was out there. We all knew it was absurd, but he could get away with it. He was a billionaire. And then he went on this anti-Semitic rant when he was potentially drunk and sleepy, and it was because some product of his was not being, I guess, advertised the way it should. Either way, he got banned or censored, or what is the word for that? Canceled. And so that was, we couldn't say anything anti-Semitic. Now, every major Ivy League school has got a march on its campus that's pro-Palestinian. And so if the United States government was attempting to thwart pro-Palestinian intervention into the society, then I don't know, because obviously China supports Iran and the Palestine movement and Hamas and Hezbollah and all of those. It doesn't support Israel. But what's going on right now is we are having all those movements in support of Palestine and Hamas. I don't know if it's a Hamas per se, but at least stopping Israel from defending itself in the way it sees fit.
Well, I'm sorry. I was going to say, look at the Osama bin Laden thing that recently happened within the past year. There's a favorable, image of Osama bin Laden because the people on TikTok weren't around for 9/11. And now this is their introduction. So there is some harm done by this thing.
Yeah, but I agree. But at the same time, the underlying principle in all this, what I believe to be the underlying principle in all this is the combating of bad speech is not banning it. It's more speech.
Yeah,
I agree.
More freedom, not less.
More speech. So that would look like, okay, I start posting videos about the towers getting hit and about these terrorists. So you start to educate the public. You have to have all these views so I can make an educated decision as to whether that's right or wrong. But the idea of just banning particular speech or ideas that I don't agree with, or what the federal government, I'm speaking like the federal government, they don't agree with, I think that's detrimental to a free society.
So what I wanted to circle back, because I don't think I kind of closed the loop as far as this pro-Palestinian movement that's spreading across the nation. And I'm not putting out my view right here. I do have a side that I take with the Israel-Gaza conflict, but or Israel-Hamas, I should say, conflict. It's not Gaza that they're against, and it's not Lebanon that they're against. It's Hamas and Hezbollah that they're against. Anyhow, the thing is, it's primarily the left that is supporting pro-Palestinian. It's primarily the right that is supporting pro-Israel, freedom to defend itself the way it sees fit. And so, of course, the administration right now is a democratic administration. And so it seems to me counterintuitive that if the Chinese government is trying to undermine the current administration, it's not doing a very good job, because it's really doing its bidding right now with all this pro-Palestinian protests out there.
What I just want to say really quickly is that I don't really think that it's necessarily that the Chinese government is out here influencing the left-sided ideologies by saying being pro-Palestine and all these other things, because if you think about it, TikTok isn't the only form of social media out there. It's not the only form of short content social media out there. Every single social media out there that's major right now, like Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, they all have these short form contents because they saw how successful TikTok was with it. So, and regardless, the way that the algorithm on TikTok works is if you see a video, like how Thomas said, if it'll notice how long you watch on the video, if you engage with it, if you comment, follow, share, all these other things. things, I don't necessarily think that TikTok is the primary cause of that, because if TikTok wasn't around, there'd still be something else that would be influencing people. So it's necessarily, if you want to interact with the pro-Palestine or pro-Israel stuff, that's what you will be fed. It's not that TikTok as a whole is putting pro-Palestine stuff, because from my experience, I saw pro-Palestine stuff when it was trending, right? When everybody was talking about it, when it was at its peak, right? And everybody's posting about this, everybody's making these sounds so that way they can donate money from the revenue that's generated off of the views. But now that I've like stopped interacting with it, my feed's back to normal. So there's pro-Palestine stuff every now and then, because maybe I interacted with somebody who used a filter that was previously mentioned to give money to Palestine or money to Israel. And so that's just what it is. It's not necessarily TikTok itself is forcing the youths now to intake this pro-Palestine agenda. It's just that's what they're interacting with. That's what they find the cause, and that's what they believe is the best option because of what they've interacted with and what they've seen.
Yeah, I think that, to what I was saying earlier, is that the government's position was, we see that this could easily become a problem, even though I don't think there's much evidence on the ground level that people are being fed Chinese propaganda. But it's an interesting thought that maybe it could be a problem.
I mean, look at what TikTok is in China, and look at what it is over here. In China, it pushes education and science and, you know, advancements and national pride. And here, you know, it teaches kids to eat Tide Pods.
Sure.
But again, I think, like, you know, the combating of that is not shutting it down, in my opinion. I think the founders had it right when they allowed all these opinions. It's not like it wasn't the same back then in the sense of propaganda. Ben Franklin was known to create his own newspaper and regularly push his propaganda.
Yeah,
and
under a pseudonym.
Under a pseudonym. And that's always been the case. So there's always going to be those types of propaganda machines. But the remedy, I don't think, is shutting down Ben Franklin's press or shutting down a TikTok or shutting down an actor, be it foreign or domestic, that even has bad intent. I think we as individuals are built with a pretty good intelligence, and we can most of the time sniff out the bad actors or the things that are being pushed upon us, things that aren't quite right.
If you have questions or want to know more about something that was discussed today, please call the law firm of Deason, Garner & Hansen at 928-783-4575 or visit yumaestateplanning.com.